What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Weather Update for Thursday, December 19th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the weather update as needed for the United States, talking about tropical weather, severe weather, winter weather, heavy rain, cold, drought, heat, and everything else in between, all to keep you in the know of what is going on with the latest weather in the United States. Want to stay in the know? Subscribe down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell to be notified of my latest videos. Share this video with anyone you know. And leave your comments down below. Alrighty, starting off with the latest satellite picture for the United States. We do see that we have a clipper system that is moving through portions of the Midwest and starting to move into portions of the Great Lakes. We also see we do have a lot of clouds in the Pacific Northwest. That is ahead of a very unsettled and stormy pattern that is going to set up in the Pacific Northwest straight on through the holidays. Yes, Christmas and maybe even approaching New Year's as well. Another atmospheric river event is likely for you. Taking a look at the latest winds here, we can see that clipper system that is exiting the northern plains, moving into the Midwest and Great Lakes. We also do see the winds in the Pacific Ocean are really starting to get active, indicating that an unsettled pattern is going to set up there. Taking a look at the latest radar picture, we do see that there are periods of snow moving into portions of the Great Lakes. Chicago, you're going to see snow as well. Maybe a couple inches could fall for you. Portions of western Wisconsin, there are some bands of heavier snow with this in eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And the Storm Prediction Center is noting about that. We'll show you that in just a moment. Snow is starting to move out of the Dakotas, and this afternoon you will start to dry out, but very cold air is going to come in. Washington State, it is already starting to get showery once again. It's just the beginning of what is going to be a very long, unsettled stretch of wet weather for you. Taking a look at the National Hazards Map, we do see it is a windy day in the Dakotas. North of there, winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings up for portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Even winter weather advisories up now for portions of Michigan. I would not be surprised if a winter weather advisory or two does get added in the Northeast, as some light snow is expected from this system for you as well. Air quality is the issue in Northern California. It is wildfires still an issue, plus it is that time of the year where people are using their fireplaces, so that is a problem. Something that's not a problem today so far is power outages, but hey, we will be watching across Nebraska and the Dakotas. Those high winds could cause a few power outages. Here's that heavy snowfall discussion that was issued by the Storm Prediction Center for portions of western Wisconsin and eastern Minnesota. Snowfall rates could approach 1 inch per hour through late morning in this area, so that is something to be mindful of. All right, let's head over to the Weather Prediction Center and see what the surface map is going to look like for the next 7 days, up to 12Z next Thursday morning. That would be. And we can see here that clipper system is going to move through the Great Lakes tonight. There is going to be some light rain across portions of the Pacific Northwest. It's really going to come in waves. Many different bits and pieces for you. That clipper system across the Great Lakes, that is going to continue into the Great Lakes tonight. A new low is going to develop off the Carolina coast, but that is going to move pretty far east. The only place where that may throw some moisture back would be Connecticut on northward. The NAM model suggested maybe New Jersey. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm not really buying it. The NAM sometimes does this game, but we'll see here. You can see on the Weather Prediction Center, they are forecasting some mixed precipitation. Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City tomorrow. There will be some light precipitation throughout the day, and that snow in Chicago will eventually taper off, but you will see 1 to 2 inches of snowfall from this system. And as we head into tomorrow night, precipitation, it may increase a little bit, still generally light across portions of the 95 corridor. Away from I-95, a couple inches of snow is possible, and you know what, I-95 itself, as this system departs, maybe a coating to an inch of snow is possible, and we'll have to keep our eyes on what happens in portions of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts to see if the system does throw back any moisture. On Saturday morning, things will be clearing in the east. It'll get very windy. It'll get very cold this weekend. Things will remain very stormy and unsettled in the northwest. And you'll see here, that is pretty much the case every day through this period. There may be some breaks in between, but they will be few and far in between. Sunday, high pressure makes its way into the northeast. It's going to be a very cold day. Highs in the teens and 20s for many areas. And then we have to keep our eyes on this little disturbance that is going to set up shop and move into the northeast as that high departs as we head towards Christmas Eve. There could be some mixed precipitation with it. It's going to be generally light, but it could cause some issues. After all, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are big holidays. As we head into Wednesday of next week, Christmas Day, a storm system will be coming out of Colorado and the Rockies, and we'll keep our eyes on that storm system because it could get unsettled in portions of the mid-south and maybe even up into the southern portions of the Midwest. And take a look at this. By the time we get to Thursday of next week, it is still unsettled in the Pacific Northwest. That is a theme that is going to continue day after day after day. And you can see here widespread 3 to 5 inches of precipitation, heavy mountain snows, locally 5 to 7 inches of precipitation, which could cause some flooding in some areas. The reason why flooding is not going to be as significant as previous events is the fact that this is really spread out over time, and it's going to come in bits and pieces. You do see here the Weather Prediction Center has a bullseye of precipitation from Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and even southern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. That is that system that we'll have to watch for Christmas, unfortunately, Christmas Day itself. And you do see a little precipitation bullseye across portion of the Florida Panhandle and some precipitation for Florida. You may get one of those flows that set up out of the east where some moisture will actually come off the Atlantic for portions of central and southern Florida. All right, it is Thursday. The drought monitor did update today, and there are still drought in a lot of places. The Northeast is still bad. There's still problems in Arkansas, Tennessee. These issues will slowly get a little bit better with the pattern that is setting up for the holiday week, but it's not going to completely go away, but it will improve somewhat. And you still see western Texas, that is still exceptional drought conditions for you. All right, let's take a look at the computer models. On the herd today, we see there goes that clipper system into portions of the Great Lakes. There's those showers and even periods of light to moderate rain up in portions of Washington. That clipper system will continue east. The new low forms in the Atlantic, but as you see here on the HER model, it forms too far to the east to provide any significant precipitation along the coast. But hey, we will keep watching it. If I see any surprises, I'll tweet about them on Twitter and post it over on X. Now take a look what happens when this system does exit. You see another band of light to maybe even steady snow that sets up in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. That is what is called an inverted trough, and sometimes produce a swath of light snow. You get some forcing in the atmosphere, and it squeezes whatever moisture is available out and produces precipitation. In this case, it's cold enough to be snow. That's where places like Philadelphia and New York City could see a coating to an inch of snowfall occur very late Friday night into Saturday morning. You also note here at the end of the HER run, that's some very heavy rainfall moving into California, Oregon, and eventually Washington as well. I'll show you that on the NAM too, and you can see there goes the Clipper system tomorrow, and the NAM tries to develop that low in the Atlantic a little bit further to the northwest. I think it is overdoing that, but we'll keep an eye on it. And you can also see there is that backside precipitation from that inverted trough. And take a look Saturday morning. You're getting just hammered with heavy rainfall in Northern California, Oregon, and eventually by the afternoon, Washington as well, with some mountain snows. Then you get a break on Saturday night, and then by Sunday evening, another system moves in. And when we move over to the GFS in just a moment, you'll see that stays there as well. Here's the other big story for the weekend that you need to keep an eye on if you're in the Northeast. And you know what? Even in the Southeast as well. Things are going to get very cold this weekend behind the Clipper system. Take a look at Saturday morning. You see temperatures are in the 20s in the Northeast, and a lot of places the highs remain in the 20s. Then comes Sunday morning, and you're seeing 30s and 40s in Florida. You're even seeing, just north of Atlanta, temperatures below freezing. And then in the Northeast, single digits in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York. And watch what happens as I advance this to the afternoon. Yeah, highs in the 20s in portions of the Northeast. Even Philadelphia, you do not hit 30 degrees on Sunday. New York City does not hit 30 degrees. Boston, you may not even make it to the mid-20s. It is going to be very cold. The wind chills will be in the single digits and teens across the Northeast. Yeah, very cold day. Even in the Southeast. Look at that. Jacksonville, Florida, highs in the 50s. Tallahassee, Florida, highs in the 50s. Yes. Atlanta, highs in the low to mid 40s on Sunday. And even on the West Coast, not terribly all that warm. Of course, the Pacific Northwest, you've got that unsettled pattern. So, yeah, we wouldn't expect it to get warm for you. Taking a look at the GFS, and our focus here is going to be the West Coast and the Mid-South. Watch what happens as we head into next week. We can see here that there will be a break on Monday for portions of Washington, Oregon, but that break is going to be very short-lived. You also see here the high pressure in the Northeast exits the picture, and a little bit of precipitation comes behind it. Some light snow or mixed precipitation from Pennsylvania on northward is possible. Light rain in the Ohio Valley. Take a look at Christmas Eve morning. It is just pouring rain in Northern California, Oregon, and even Washington as well. Mountain snows will be very heavy. As we head into the afternoon on Christmas Eve, still some mixed precipitation in the Northeast. Eventually that will push southward by Christmas Day. How far south? That still remains a question. And Christmas Day, we watch this as well. Moisture will start to come out of the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf Coast region. And by the time we get into Christmas evening, look at that, very heavy rainfall. Windy conditions as well. There probably will be high wind warnings at that point in the Pacific Northwest. And you can see this unsettled pattern there just remains for several days. And in the midsection of the country, from Christmas on, things will turn very unsettled. There could even be a severe weather threat at some point during the holidays across Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. You can see here, GFS is putting out a very strong area of low pressure centered right near Kentucky and Tennessee. Pretty far out there, but something to keep our eyes on. If we take a look at the ensemble, you can see here, once this cold air moves through in the Northeast this weekend, watch what happens next. Warm air just invades the majority of the United States with exceptions to the Pacific Northwest. Yes, it is going to be above average temperatures for many places across the United States through the Christmas holiday. I don't think another cold snap's going to come in the east after this weekend until the new year. And like I said before, things could get very active in the midsection of the country. You do see the ridge in the east is troughing in between. That is something we will have to keep our eyes on, as that could be the signal for some heavier weather, such as heavy rain, and maybe even a thunderstorm threat of some point. Do I think it'll be a full-blown severe outbreak? No, because of the time of the year, but it's something we'll have to keep our eyes on. All right, take a look at the Climate Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Well above average temperatures, with the maximum of that being over the upper Midwest. Much of the country just above average temperatures. Precipitation, 6 to 10 days. Much of the country will be above average, and that's going to be the same in the 8 to 14 days as well. Near normal in the east, below average in Maine, and southern Arizona and New Mexico below average temperatures for you, and well above average precipitation in the Pacific Northwest. And I should correct myself, I mean below average precipitation for portions of southern Arizona and New Mexico. 8 to 14 day temperatures, yeah, very, very warm across much of the country. The only place I could see this being overdone is in the Northwest. That unsettled pattern could lead to temperatures actually being below average. 8 to 14 day precipitation continues to be above average in the Northwest across much of the country, with exception to southern Arizona and New Mexico and western Texas, where you really do need the rainfall. Near normal for portions of Florida. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Thursday weather update. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, have a fantastic Thursday afternoon, and thanks for watching.